Hello and welcome to Palace Fan TV for Jim and Jay's final say Southampton review video where Palace got a 1-0 win thanks to Yohan Cabaye. I'm Jim Daly and these are my thoughts on how Palace got on. A win, another win at home, which now means our home record is as good as our away record, which a few weeks ago, seeing as we're all talking about this dodgy home record, we've actually now got exactly the same number of points at home as we have away. So I think that's good because teams like Palace are only going to progress where we are in the league if we're as good at home as we are away. It's great being a good away from home, but we need to make sure we beat those teams at home, and we have. And to be fair, we've been a bit unlucky with some of the games we played at home. We've had Arsenal, and Man City, Man United, and we've had some tough away games as well, to be fair, away at Spurs. I think we've probably come through our hardest point of the season in terms of runs of fixtures. January is looking a bit tricky as well, but I think we've probably done the hardest run, and we're sixth in the table and looking very good for it as well. And in fact, Saturday's win against Southampton was a deserved win for Palace. It was a very professional, grown-up performance. Palace last season or season before, or even back in the day, might have lost that one, probably wouldn't have found a breakthrough. But this team at the moment plays confidently. They look like they're going to score and they go forward, and they're just very good at sort of riding out pressure, riding out results. And we'd never beaten Southampton before in the Premier League ever, and in fact in the last 4 times we played them last 2 seasons, we'd lost every game. So if you're looking for progress, Southampton are a good yardstick to measure that against, especially as they're a team that I think Palace want to emulate, or certainly wanted to when they got promoted 2 years ago. And now you could possibly argue, are we even on the same level as Southampton? We're certainly not far off, and it's only been 2 years since, or 2.5 years since we got promoted. So that is fantastic progress. But on the day, it was a game really where you just had competent performances from every Palace player. I think it was quite hard to pick a man of the match afterwards. I was down the pub, and some Palace fans were going for Hennessy, some were going for Balassi, some were going for Wickham, some were going for Punchin. It was good across the board. Hennessy had a great game, and he's become Palace #1 now. Just sort of quietly got on with it. I write for ESPN after games, and they started asking us to do player ratings, and I gave him a 7, and I'm starting to regret that because I think it was probably worth an 8. I've been getting some abuse from people on Twitter about that, quite rightly, I guess. I gave him a 7 because he only made 3 saves in the game. I mean, 2 of them were absolutely world class, but he didn't really have much else to do. But I guess as a goalkeeper, all you got to do is make sure you're up to it when you get called into action. And those 2 saves were fantastic. The header from Davies when he clawed it out the top corner, that was fantastic. What a save that is! And the one right at the death from Shane Long, that's the goal that Palace in past seasons would have conceded. And not this time. Hennessy was up for it and made a very good save. So I probably got that one wrong. Probably worth an 8 from Hennessy because it was a very good performance from him, and he did his job. But across the board, it was 7 and 8s really for everyone else. Probably I gave a couple of the 6s for parity. But you just had players like MacArthur, who's a 7 every week, just doing his job. You had Cabaye, who's an 8, with the goal, but just does the other side of his game that we're all talking about now, this defensive side, breaking up play. The one bit where he broke up play on the floor and sort of spun around and then played it to a teammate. All the Palace fans were just on their feet applauding that because that's absolute class. The defence was solid again. I thought Soiree had one of his better games. Struggled last couple of weeks. Away at Everton, had a tough one against Delafeu. Much better on Saturday. There was one moment where Southampton broke and Soiree, I think, must have run 60-70 yards to cover it in about 3 or 4 seconds. And, we know that's one of his attributes, his pace. But defensively, he was much better yesterday. We sort of kept Southampton at bay, and that's credit to the defence and the 2 defensive midfielders. But going forward, Yannick yesterday, his crossing was absolutely fantastic, and I don't know why he suddenly switched it on. Terence, who does our Palace Fan TV monthly review video, suggested it might be because John Solarco is back in the coaching staff, and I think that's probably not a bad shout. Yannick was putting some fantastic crosses in. And in one day, they'll connect with Wickham, and Wickham will get his goal. He had a great game. I thought he was fantastic. He plays that role up top so well. Yes, he's not quite got a goal yet, and he was very unlucky not to score the left foot volley, which Gazzaniga did very well to save. But he's getting better each game, Wickham, and he's just sort of really settling into that role up top, the big man role, winning the headers, finding teammates, holding the ball up. we're very demanding. It's a demanding role up there. You know, you haven't just got to score goals, you've got to do everything else. And he is doing everything else, and the goals will come. And when they do, I think they'll probably open the floodgates for more. But he's doing fantastic, and you can see he's linking up with Yannick and with Wilf, who had a good game, and Punch in particular. Now, Punch, we started like we did against Southampton, against Newcastle, with Yannick in the middle, 4-4-2, and Punch out wide. And when Punch came in the middle, in number 10 for the second half, we went sort of back to more of that 4-2-3-1. He was absolutely fantastic. I do think he is more comfortable in the middle of the park. He used the ball so well. He was just looking like the Punch of the second half of the last 2 seasons, sort of confident on the ball, got that swagger back. He did a couple of shimmies past people later on in the game, and they were just, took players out of the game, and Palace fans were just sort of fawning because it was just so good. But I think that is kind of an indication of how Palace are doing right now, because we are confident. There is a swagger to the team, and that comes from winning these games against teams that, you're aiming to beat. We are now aiming to beat the Southamptons and the Newcastles. Right, Newcastle are struggling, but Southamptons, and we've got Stoke next weekend. We're aiming to beat those teams because we're progressing, and that shows how far we've come. So it was a very good professional performance from Palace, which I think is something that we've not been able to say much in recent seasons, certainly not in recent Premier League years, going back to last time we were in the Premier League. We're now establishing ourselves as one of the teams to beat, and we're sixth in the table, and we deserve to be there. It's crazy, it's ridiculous. And we've now got a few games over Christmas that are very winnable. We've got a tough run in January, but we could be looking at 30 plus points by the end of December. We could be looking at 40 points by the end of January. Then you're absolutely laughing. This could be one of our greatest seasons ever. So there we go. Very happy indeed, and credit to everyone at Palace because it was a fantastic result. So don't forget to subscribe to these videos if you enjoy them. Drop a like and comment below with who's your man of the match. I'm going to go with Cabaye, just shading Wickham and Hennessy. But who was your man of the match? Comment below. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Snapchat, where we're doing snaps of every away game this season, and home game. I'm trying to do them for home games as well, but definitely every away game, so look out for that for the Stoke game. So that's it from me. Here's Jay from the Eagles Speak with his thoughts. I'm sure he'll be pretty happy as well. And that's it. See you again soon.
Hey guys, this is Palace Fan TV. Welcome back. This is Jim and Jay's final say, and we're here to talk about the home game against Southampton yesterday. Another great result for Palace. It's been a while since we've beaten Southampton. I don't think we've beaten them in the Premier League at all. I think it's about 8 games, I think they were saying yesterday in the build up to the game. So bit of a monkey off our back by winning just by a single goal. It was a good game actually. Southampton are on a side which they're going for a bit of a rough patch at the moment. Got a tough few fixtures coming up, so they'd have wanted something out of this game against us. But we're in form. It's a bit of a contrast to the last couple of games at home actually. The game against Newcastle, very different. They weren't great defensively, and against Sunderland, we all know what happened against Sunderland. But this one was quite different. We were very professional in both our setup and the way we had to go at Southampton. They're a classy side. They had spells where they retained the ball, had a bit of possession, and had a go at us. I think towards the end it was quite nervy. And I mean, I've mentioned it before in previous videos that Hennessy and Wickham are the two players who have kind of divided opinion amongst Palace fans. And Wickham's played excellently in recent games, particularly since he's come back from injury. He showed us a cameo against Chelsea earlier in the season, but since then he's suffered from an injury, and since he's come back, he's been a real asset to the team. He is that lone striker. That role was created for him at Palace effectively, and we're bearing the fruits of that. He really works hard up front. I'm just amazed he hasn't scored yet. I mean, he had 2 great opportunities yesterday. Both of them were saved excellently by the keeper. The second one, low down, looked destined for the bottom corner, and it's such a shame that he couldn't get on the score sheet because his work ethic kind of deserves a goal. And I don't like using the word deserves because you kind of get what you deserve in life and in sport particularly, but he worked so hard to create opportunities for other players, and he had the chances yesterday. I think he had 3 chances in total to score. 2 of them were well saved by the keeper. The other one was he didn't really make any connection with the ball, unfortunately. But he's playing excellent, really well. Hennessy, the other one, I think 2 great saves yesterday were the difference between Palace walking away with 3 points like we did, and actually, losing 2 points and ending up with a draw. I mean, he secured the lead on two separate occasions. The first one was it looked destined for the back of the net, actually, a header from Sean Davis, the midfielder for Southampton. It just connected with it really well, and it looks as though it's gone past Hennessy from where I was, and to make the save he did to tip it over, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But the one towards the end of the game from Shane Long even. Hennessy just had to get something on it. Long was through, shot on goal. Perhaps difficult chance there. Could he have dinked it over the keeper? It happened so quickly. But Hennessy was there, saved with his legs, and that secured the 3 points for us. And while Cabaye scored the match-winning goal, that will be the headline. Hennessy preserved that win with two of those saves. And to be fair, Palace could have actually been 2 or 3 up. Had opportunities. Balassi had a great effort on the volley. Cabaye had another effort. It was absolutely stinging. I think it was half volley. Could have been volley. I haven't seen the TV footage yet but from being at a game, it looked like it was on the volley he come back from a corner, and I thought they were going to put the keeper in the back of the net. And the Southampton keeper played excellently. I mean, I mentioned Hennessy's couple of saves. I think Gazzaniga had. I mean, walking to the game knowing that they were playing, it's a position that Southampton have struggled with since Fraser Forster's been injured. Knowing Gazzaniga was in goal, I kind of, he's a bit of a weak link. So I've heard from, Southampton fans, but I mean, he had a great game yesterday. He made 4-5 great saves. That one from Cabaye, I was expecting to see him in the back of the net. He hit it with such venom. Cabaye made other saves. I think one from Balassi, which was kind of curling effort. The wind must have had something to do with it, because it kind of hung up in the air and it looked destined for the top corner. It was about to dip under, but he matched it and tipped it away. But I really enjoyed the game. Obviously, it's better when Palace win, but it was Southampton came at us. Probably not on the best form you would expect from a side such as Southampton, who have last couple of seasons done excellently, and they're in the bottom half of the table, which we haven't seen for a while. So they've been on a tough run, but we took advantage and we went at them, and our attacking flair was brilliant. It was great to see Wilf back in the side. We missed him against Everton on Monday, I think. Showed us exactly what we missed. Balassi was brilliant. The assist for the goal, continually. Movement was brilliant. At times he partnered Wickham up front, and then other times he was out on the wing. For me, I find him better, more effective out wide, which a lot of the time he was causing their fullbacks a lot of problems, and Wilf was the same up against Bertrand, chosen for England, Bertrand, and Zaha gave him an absolutely torrid time out wide. Other notable mentions, obviously Cabaye and MacArthur in the middle, punching. Brilliant this time. I've been at games. I've been quite frustrated with him in the last few weeks, but he was back to what we almost his best yesterday. He really did play well. Kind of ran the game along with Cabaye. They both worked well together. It was great to see. Really was great to see. I don't know. I mean, I want to see Shamat back in the side, but I can't see how he's going to get in at the moment. Made a cameo very late on, so didn't much, but kind of to see the game out, maybe if he changes, freshen some legs. And we held on. That's basically what happened in the end. We could have had more goals, but end of the day, Hennessy was brilliant. Made the number one shirt his own, and hopefully for me that's the end of it. He's our number one keeper. He's proved it. Play well, particularly in the last 2 games. 3 excellent saves to preserve points for us. So you can't argue much more than that from a keeper. So happy days, pretty much. Great form from Palace, and we go into Stoke away next week, which will be a very interesting one. They drew with West Ham, goalless draw West Ham yesterday. They're an exciting side. They've got some talented players, so be interested to see how that plays out next week. But fingers crossed for another positive result for Palace. Thanks for watching Palace Fan TV. You can catch Palace Fan TV on Snapchat, Facebook, and obviously on Twitter as well. Please subscribe to the videos, leave your comments, let us know what your thoughts on the game were, and we'll be back next week for another video after the Stoke game. So thanks for watching, and cheers.